Your competitors are booking 3 times more meetings than you, and it's not because they have a bigger team or even a better product. It's because they stopped doing prospecting the old way. While you're spending 3 hours a day copying names into spreadsheets, manually looking up emails and writing the same, "Hey, I noticed your company" message for the 100th time, they've handed that entire job over to AI. Now, if your team is still prospecting like it's 2012, then you're losing deals to competitors who automated this months ago. In this video, I'm going to cover the 3 pillars of AI prospecting, plus all of the tools that you need to make it work seamlessly. And there's one data source that most teams are completely ignoring that's actually the best predictor of buying intent. So I'll show you what I mean when we get to the qualification section. Now, once you understand this whole system, you're probably going to want to fully automate it yourself. Now, there's a bunch of tools I'll be talking about, but we also built an N8N workflow that runs this entire thing on autopilot. Prospect discovery, outreach, follow-ups, everything is in the link in the description if you want to grab that now. There's also a video walkthrough of how it all works, but you're going to want to stick around for this video because you'll want to understand how this whole system works before you set it up. So let's get right into it. So what is AI sales prospecting? Well, let's start with what prospecting looks like without AI. You identify a target company, you go to LinkedIn, search for the right people, open 10 tabs, copy names and LinkedIn profiles into a spreadsheet. Then you look up emails one by one, read their profiles, check the company website, find something relevant to mention. Then you write a custom email, you send it, and then you repeat this for every single person. It works, but it's slow and it definitely doesn't scale. Now, here's what AI prospecting looks like. AI analyzes thousands of companies in seconds to find the ones that match your ICP. It finds the right contacts based on job title, seniority, and recent activity. It pulls data from LinkedIn, company websites, news articles, funding announcements, job postings, and any other source. It scores and qualifies each lead based on real signals, not just a gut feeling. Then it writes hyper-personalized outreach messages for you, referencing specific details about that person and their company. Now, AI doesn't replace salespeople, it just replaces all the busy work that keeps salespeople from actually selling. Now, AI prospecting is just automating research, qualification, and personalization. So your team can then spend less time hunting and more time having real conversations. So those are the 3 core components. Let's break down each one. The first component is research. This is where AI gathers company and contact data at scale. Let's say you sell to B2B SaaS companies. Your ICP is Series A through Series C funded, 50 to 500 employees. They're scaling their sales team and they're based in North America. With AI, you define your criteria, hit go, and get hundreds, if not thousands, of matching companies in seconds, complete with the right contacts and verified email addresses and phone numbers. Now, let me show you what this actually looks like with some tools. Now, I'm using Wiza Prospect here, but you can also do this directly on LinkedIn Sales Navigator if you already have a subscription there, or on LinkedIn Profiles with the Wiza Chrome extension. So I've got a search here, VPs of sales at B2B SaaS companies, 50 to 500 employees. I click the Wiza extension. I can save this search to a list, and Wiza will start to pull verified contact data for every single person in the search. We're talking emails, phone numbers, company revenue, funding stage, headcount, and all of this is verified in real time. Now, most people would be using Sales Navigator for this, but if you don't want to pay for that or you don't have a subscription, then Wiza Prospect will give you access to 850 million contacts that are real-time verified. Again, you can filter by job title, company size, funding stage, industry, pretty much whatever you need. And here's the key. This is all real-time verification. You only pay for valid emails. And Wiza has a 99% deliverability rate and less than 2% bounce rate. So that means you're getting real emails from real people. Now, that's the research layer. You just went from hours of manual work to hundreds of qualified contacts in seconds, and they're all verified. Okay, so now you have the data, but how do you know which ones to actually reach out to and what to say? Well, the next part is where most teams completely fall apart. So component 2 is AI for qualification. This is where most teams usually get it wrong. Traditional qualification looks like this. You look at a company and you say, yeah, seems like a fit. Or you just email everyone and see who responds. That's not qualification, that's just hoping and praying. AI qualification is different. It analyzes every account against specific criteria and scores them based on real signals. So you get firmographics. Does this company match your ICP on size, industry, revenue? Technographic. Are they using tools that indicate a good fit? Intent data. Are they researching your category or visiting your site? And behavioral insights. Are they hiring? Did they just raise a new funding round? Is there new leadership? There's all these things that will tell you that they're looking for some help, or maybe it's a good time for them to buy. Now, remember that data source that I mentioned earlier in this video? The one that most teams completely ignore? Well, that's champion job changes. When your past buyers move to a new company, that's your fastest path to a new deal. Think about it. The trust is already built. They know how your product works or how your solution works, and they need a quick win in their new role, so they'll most likely champion you again. Now, this is what Wiza Monitor tracks. You upload your past customers, your champions, key contacts from closed deals, and the moment one of them changes jobs, you get an alert on Slack, email, or wherever you want. And it's not just a, hey, they moved. You get their new company, their new title, and updated verified contact data, their new email, phone number, everything. It even auto-updates your CRM with no manual work. Now, this is the intent signal that's hiding in plain sight. Your best source of warm opportunities is people who already trust you. And most teams never actually track this. They lose those opportunities and they just slip away. But with Wiza Monitor, you're the first call they get when they're in their new role. By the way, have you actually ever closed a deal from a past champion who changed jobs? If so, drop a comment. I'd love to hear how that went and how you did that. But anyways, before we get into personalization, a quick heads up, everything that I'm showing you in these sections, we've packaged into one clean N8N workflow that runs completely on autopilot. It does the research, qualification, outreach, follow-ups, and it's all connected. So if you want to skip all the manual setup or connect all these different tools, you can just plug in something that already works. We spent a long time building this. Now, the link for that is in the description. You'll find the N8N workflow template as well as a video walking you through how it works. But let's keep going in this video so you understand how the rest of this system works. Now, the next component is AI for personalization. All right, you've got your research, you know who's qualified. Now here's where most sales teams completely blow it. Because generic outreach doesn't just get ignored, it actually damages your reputation. It burns your domains, and it trains prospects to just delete anything with you or your company's name on it. So here's the problem with most cold outreach. It's just generic. Even when you personalize it, you're really just dropping the company's name or their job title or something really generic like that. And trust me, they can tell. They've seen it 1,000 times. Everyone is doing this. Real personalization means that you've done your homework, or in this case, AI has done its homework. You understand their company, you know what they're working on, you've identified a specific pain point, and you have something relevant to say. Now, the problem, doing this manually takes forever. Maybe you can get through 10 to 15 truly personalized emails a day, max. Your time is very valuable though, so let's use AI to change this completely. Now, what you do is you give AI access to all of your research data from the previous steps. Company websites, news articles, LinkedIn profiles, job posting, funding announcements, and anything else that you can find, or AI finds. Then you give AI a framework, problem you solve, who you help, maybe some case studies, and your call to action. And from this, AI generates custom messages for each prospect, weaving in specific details. Now, this is where all that data from the research phase pays off. If you have their funding stage, headcount, tech stack, hiring activity, AI can use those details to write messages that actually land. Now, here's where it gets serious. AI outreach isn't perfect. You still need to review, make sure it sounds like you and not a robot. Verify the facts and make sure you do your homework before you send out the message. But the good news is the heavy lifting is done for you. You're just adding the final touches before you hit send. Now, by the way, if you're already using AI for outreach, please drop a comment down below and let me know what's working for you. Any hacks that you can share would be super awesome. Okay, so let's quickly put this all together. This is the system that works. You research, qualify, and personalize. Wiza handles your data foundation, verified contacts with Wiza Prospect, intent tracking with Wiza Monitor. You can then pair this with tools like Clay for enrichment or Apollo or Smart Lead for outreach. But you don't need to overcomplicate it. Just start with one solid data tool, one automation platform, and build from there. Now, here's the thing. Everything I just showed you, you can actually connect it all and run it on complete autopilot with our free N8N workflow. Prospect discovery, lead research, personalized outreach, follow-ups, reply handling, CRM sync, all of it. This is all running in the background while you focus on getting on calls and closing deals. You can check out this video on screen right here where we'll show you a full step-by-step guide on how to build your own AI SDR using this free N8N workflow template. You can download the template, plug in your tools, swap out the apps, change out the content and the context, and you can set all this up in an afternoon. So the link's also in the description if you don't see it up on screen right here. And have a magical day. I'll see you in that next video.